What is up, and welcome back. This is Law of Evolution, and it is the middle of the night. And I'm a man of my word. I said I would come back and I would share my wins and my losses with you guys, whether I was doing good or bad. And that's what I'm here to do. And if you are new here, I am a lifelong visual artist. And sometimes I got good tips and sometimes I have pretty decent observations. And I think today I've got a little bit of both of those. So let's get straight to it. What is up, family? Welcome back, and I've got a couple good tips for you, and I'm so excited to be here. It's a personality trait. I'm always so excited about something, but I'm excited to be here and to share some of what's been going on with my print-on-demand side hustle journey. And they're going to be like tips or just kind of things that I've learned, because mostly it's going to be things that I have learned through this, and I think that you're going to be able to take away something from it. And the very first thing that I learned was after running an ads experiment. And I ran an ads experiment on both Amazon KDP for my books, and I ran an ads experiment on Etsy. The conclusion that I've come to really quickly is that, naturally, for the most traffic, for the most exposure, you're going to want to be running some sort of ads. Even if it's really, really low and you're lowballing hard, you're going to want to run some ads just to get some visibility on what you're actually doing, some visibility on your hard work. So check this out. On my first screenshot, you can see here that in the month of August, right, I was running ads on 3 coloring books on Amazon KDP. Well, actually 2 coloring books, because the third coloring book is an adult coloring book that had curse words, couldn't run ads on it. So I'm running ads on 2 different coloring books. This is actually the second month ever that I was on KDP. My first month was in July, and I sold almost 100 copies in July. So now here we are in August, and in August I sold about 47 copies. On the next screenshot, you can see that I turned my ads off. I turned them off completely, and I ran it just organically to see how it would look, right? Because so in the span of 2 weeks, I illustrated and launched 3 different coloring books. And about 2 days later, I started to run ads on them. So from the very beginning, I was running ads on them, and I didn't know what organic traffic even looked like. So this was important to me to kind of see how that all would pan out. So I turned off my ads in September, and this is what it looked like the whole entire month of September. Dropped off of a whole cliff. It dropped off of a whole cliff. Now, don't feel bad for me at all. I actually sell these coloring books on Etsy as well, which is probably a really good tip too. Don't just sell your coloring books on one platform or something like that. You want to make sure that you're spreading them out and to increase your visibility in a whole different way. Like if I go down to my Etsy shop and I scroll down, I think it's on page 2. Yeah, these are the 3 coloring books that I have here that I sell on KDP, and they sell pretty well here on Etsy. So me turning off my ads in the month of September on Amazon, it was not a problem to me at all. It was a really good experiment for me to see what organic traffic looked like versus paid sponsor traffic. You know what I mean? So it was a really good lesson. Pretty much what did I learn from that was, if I wanted to get a lot of exposure, if I wanted to get the most traffic possible, I was going to have to do something. I was running ads for about $6 a day on Amazon KDP when I started, and then I turned them off. I think I ran that for about 2 months. I made all of my money back. So every dollar that I spent on ads, I made back from revenue. So that was cool. Ad experiment on Etsy was a little bit different. So on this screenshot, you can see that I didn't turn my ads on until the month of June. I think it was June when I turned my ads on for the very first time. And if you look at the amount of orders that I was getting from those, as soon as I did that and I turned on those Etsy ads, I never turned them off. Amazon ads are a lot more in depth and a lot more complicated and nuanced. Etsy is a little easier to understand as far as where your ads are going to be going. From what I understand, they did some sort of update not too long ago that dumbed down ads, and so that's why I'm kind of experiencing it from a place where I only see it from this side, where I'm like, oh, Etsy ads are easy. They dumbed them down a lot. With Amazon, being able to choose your own cost per click and your own, doing all of that stuff, it's very, very, very different. With Etsy, you kind of just have to let them go. You just kind of have to throw money at it and just kind of see what happens. You know what I mean? So you're probably going to want to turn on ads and stop worrying about your revenue so much. I don't care. As long as my ad revenue is higher than the amount that I spent on ads, I am happy. I don't care if it's $1,000 and $1,020. I know that I wouldn't have made any of that had I not run ads at all. So that was always so important to realize, that I needed to be running ads in some way, shape, or form, even if it was just $1 a day on these platforms. It is important. You need to probably think about doing that if you're not already. So tip number 2, the observation lesson number 2, it's going to be RGB versus CMYK. If you didn't see, I actually made an entire video on this, and you can check the channel. I go into depth about the history of RGB and CMYK and so on and so forth. And I go into depth about it. You can check it out here. But as an overview, we definitely need to be working in a CMYK color profile at all times. If you are doing print on demand, if you're doing anything like that, especially if you're doing Amazon KDP and you're making book covers and you're making all of this stuff, you need to be working in a CMYK profile at all times going forward, forever. Like, there's absolutely no reason why you should be working in an RGB. So let me show you. And this is something that I didn't do in the last video, but let me show you. I think I have Illustrator open. So we're going to create a brand new document in Adobe Illustrator, and you can see right here it's in the CMYK color mode. It's not in RGB, and I have my CMYK artboard up here, and I'm going to go and grab a document that I know is RGB. So I'm going to go and find an RGB graphic. I know this is RGB, so we're going to pull this one in. And I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, but I know for sure it has to look funny in some way. So this is my RGB graphic, but I'm in a CMYK artboard. So you can see what the colors look like. The colors look really punchy. They look nice. But when I go to click on that, when I go to image trace this, slowly on a large image, whatever, we're gonna have it break. We're gonna have Adobe Illustrator break down this RGB image into CMYK. What you can see, yep, and there it is right there. You can see that it screwed up the colors in just very minute ways. You can see right here, turn that, I guess that gray wasn't a gray that was available in CMYK. So that gray went to some funky color. The purples, there was just a light purple, but that light purple was available in RGB, but it was not available in CMYK. So the computer chose some other color, and we were pretty much left it up to the computer to choose the other colors. Some of these are a little off. This was brown. This was like brown chocolate brown, and now this is like off. When you convert an RGB graphic or an RGB image into CMYK, sometimes you can get away with it. Sometimes you get away with it. You get some of these colors that stay the same, and sometimes you make a graphic and look, even the reds got a little funky. Sometimes you get away with it, but sometimes you get colors on a t-shirt that are really muted, colors that change completely altogether. So you're going to run into situations where the computer chooses your colors for you and the customer is getting something that you didn't intend for them to get. So always, if you're working in Adobe Illustrator, if you're working in Photoshop, if you're working in Krita, if you're working in GIMP, all of these different photo editing programs, always assure that you are working in a CMYK color profile, or you're going to build some really nice dope graphics, and when you print it out on a shirt, the printer is going to print in CMYK, and it might get screwy, it might get funny. That leads to bad reviews, that leads to situations where things aren't being given out as promised. You know what I mean? So be a 1%er, you know, because 99% of people, 99% of people are doing this incorrect. 99% of YouTubers that are telling you how to make graphics and how to, they're doing this wrong. I can almost guarantee you they're doing it wrong. You want to make sure you're doing this correctly. So next, I think this is more of like a lesson that I've learned and throughout this entire process of doing print on demand and actually having a YouTube channel and promoting it through YouTube and doing all of these different things. This is a lesson that I've learned. I started watching, before I even started making videos or doing anything like that, I was watching all of these YouTube videos and YouTubers, and they were doing Amazon KDP and they were doing some other things, but they were hiding like their ASINs, they were hiding the entire title of their books, and they were hiding all of this stuff. And I kept wondering why they were doing it, right? And I think in one of my videos, I think if you go back to one of my first videos, I even said, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna hide it. Like, you can see like the titles of my books. I don't care. Like, yeah, I'm good at what I do. So what? And the more videos, the more people that I watched, the more that I saw that people were doing that. And so I got to the point where I illustrated, in a couple of weeks, I illustrated those 3 coloring books, dropped them out on Amazon KDP, and everything was doing really well. Those books did very well. In the very first month, I sold almost 100 copies. In the second month, I think I sold about 50 copies or something like that. And so I was up to about 150 some odd copies sold on Amazon just in about like 7 weeks or something like that. And naturally, I was excited. I was so excited, right? Naturally, I was so excited. So I was like, okay. So I was going on YouTube. I was going everywhere that anybody would listen. I was uploading my own videos and I was talking about it. I was like, look, guys, this is awesome. This is cool. Check it out. You know, bing, bam, boom. And then like I went to Paul Marlis. Like, he's another YouTuber that talks about Amazon KDP, side hustles, so on and so forth. And I really like his videos. I watch almost all of his stuff. And so I went on one of his videos where they were talking about if like is Amazon KDP dead or something like that. I went on there and I was like, oh man, Amazon KDP is not dead. You know, I've sold all these books and and everybody, you know, people are commenting on it. They're like, oh yeah, you know, thank you, you know, that's pretty awesome, and so on and so forth. And I don't even think Paul even saw the comment, right? But I was doing that everywhere. It wasn't just that video. I was on all of my other favorite YouTubers, like talking about it and like, you know, discussing it and so on and so forth, and then dropping my own videos. Paul dropped this video, which was like a week later. Paul drops this next video, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, oh crap. Okay. Things are getting crazy. But before he even did that, they already got to me, and I didn't have a chance. I didn't realize it yet until a little bit later. And that's kind of one of the things that I don't like about Amazon. There's so many third-party like tools and stuff like that that have like their fingers all on Amazon's API, to the point where you only really have about 30 days of selling something well before everybody knows it. You know what I mean? So when my book sold those 100 copies or sold those 170 copies in 7 weeks, the, you know, Helium 10 was telling on me. All of these other tools, they were like, these are books that are selling well. These are books that are selling well. These are books that people figured it out quickly. I launched my coloring books on July 1st. It was July 1st, 2021 when I launched my 3 coloring books. By the time 3 or 4 weeks had passed, people were already cloning my entire title, my entire description. Like, I have a screenshot of this one right here you can look at. I had this guy clone my entire title, clone my entire description, and he did it on multiple books because I had a volume 1 and a volume 2 because I illustrated all of my coloring books all at once and then dropped them all at once. This wasn't the only one though. It wasn't just him. It was like 3 or 4 other ones. And I was like, oh my, I started getting, I started getting faint. Like I started getting faint. But at the same time that all of this is happening, my sales started to drop, and I was like, well, why are sales dropping? It's because more and more people started to enter the niche. I was contributing to it in so many different ways, not only by alerting different YouTubers in my comments, by dropping my own videos, by people cloning my books. all of these different things contributed to an environment that when I was doing my initial research, I saw that there was only a couple hundred books. And I was like, oh, this would be a perfect niche to get into. Like, I'll make me some kawaii coloring books. To the point that if I go and search now, there's thousands of books in there. And so I'm like, okay, so it happened. I kind of got in there early. It's pretty dope. I got in there nice and early, and I had a chance to get sales out of it before it got more saturated, because just like Paul was saying in his videos, oversaturation is 100% a myth. Oversaturation is a myth. Your quality is what's going to make you shine. And that's why none of this really affects me negatively in any way. I feel like that's fine. I don't care about these. They could just sell, like, once I turn my ads off and these books were selling 4 or 5 copies a month, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I will illustrate in the matter of 2 or 3 weeks more coloring books, and those, even without ads, will sell me 4 or 5 copies a month. I think I will be in a very good place. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. The cloners are going to keep cloning. The people with the tools and all of that stuff, they're going to know. They're going to find out. Even if I keep my mouth shut, they're going to find out. So, so what is the lesson? What is the lesson out of all of this? What is the lesson? The lesson is, shut up. The lesson is you probably need to shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your stupid mouth, Law. You shut up, okay? You might want to start blocking them ASINs a little bit, okay? You might want to stop talking in the comments so much. You might want to stop making YouTube videos about specifically which of your titles are doing X, Y, and Z and all of that. And then maybe some of that could have been mitigated. Could have been avoided completely? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's nothing you can do. Was like Paul Marlis responsible for my decrease in sales? Hell no. Like I said, I don't think Paul even saw my comment. He has access to all of those same tools that told him what was popular at the time. He did what he's supposed to do. And I got an uppercut. I got hit with the uppercut, right square in the chin. So those are 3. I think that's been about 3 really good lessons, tips, and stuff like that I've learned, observations that I've kind of had over time. I think another good one. I've got a couple bonus ones for you here. Like, I'll give you another bonus thing that I've kind of observed over time. You probably need to stop worrying about thieves so much. Stop worrying about people that are stealing graphics. Stop worrying about people that will try to get your books, try to do this, that, and the other, because they are going to do what they are going to do. And one thing as a lifelong visual artist that I've learned, that out of people's thumbnails, there's no watermark that you can put on there that I can't find a way around. I'm being so serious about that too. There's no watermark. There's nothing that you can do. And then not only that, I ran into a situation where on Etsy, somebody went and took this graphic. So what they did is the person came and bought it from me. They came and they made the purchase and then went to sell it themselves. They changed a couple things, like changed the font on the text, and I ended up getting it, taken down. But the point is that there was nothing. I can't stop that. I can't stop someone from just coming to buy my stuff from me. They're not stealing my thumbnails and like cutting it out, like doing a magic wand with like Photoshop. No, man, they're coming and they're outright putting an investment in buying your graphic from you or doing all of this stuff, and then just starting their own shop with a whole bunch of stuff. And then another thing that I learned from Etsy is that these guys don't care. They'll just start brand new shops left and right, and it takes about 2 or 3 months for them to get shut down, but they'll just put up a whole bunch of stuff and they'll get sales out of it, and they might get 1,000 sales, they might get 2,000 sales, but then the shop will get shut down. But they don't care. They'll start another shop and they will put up the exact same listings and do it all over again, and they'll go and buy more stuff from this guy and buy more stuff from Law and buy more stuff from GCS and buy stuff from here, and they'll do it all over again, and they'll get shut down, because they're stealing. They're stealing out here. They'll just continue to do it over and over and over and over. How can you combat that? How can you really combat that? You can't. There's nothing you can do about that, man. You're happy to make the sale. You're happy to give them a raw file, but they're taking your raw file and they're just out here hustling, and sometimes they're hustling harder than you. That's what sucks. You be like, hold on, how many sales did you just get? So I don't know, man. Another thing, I think people as a whole should stop going for trends so damn much. Goodness, YouTubers left and right are just saying, hey, you want to make money, you want to make the good money, you need to go for trend stuff, you need to be doing trend this, trend that, so on and so forth. That's where the money is. But man, I'm telling you, going for trends too much puts you in a situation where trends have a shelf life. On average, a popularity of a trend only lasts about 3 months or something like that. And so if you have a shop full of these trendy items and trendy quotes and images and things like that, there's a chance that you can end up with a really big shop, 1,000 items in your shop or something. There are things that aren't popular anymore, and you've spent a lot of time on these things. You're no longer getting returns on them. So, I go for trends. I do go for trendy stuff, but I try to do it in an evergreen fashion. You know what I mean? Like this graphic right here that I created for everybody has seen 1,000 of these, right? You've seen the Halloween T-Rex mummy pumpkin, whatever that thing is, right? Everybody's seen it on Redbubble, you've seen it on Etsy, it's probably all over Amazon. The thing is that my play on this was to do a Triceratops instead of a T-Rex, and because I didn't see Triceratops anywhere, like at all anywhere. So I was like, all right, cool, this will be my spin. It's a trend. It's a trend that I saw that I wanted to take advantage of, but I put my own spin on it. And not only that, it's a Halloween themed thing, so it's an evergreen trend type of thing that I know that I'm going to get sales on in the future, next year after that. So I'm following trends, but I'm doing it in a way that's going to get me sales going forward and not just die out in 3 months because I want to make a Squid Game shirt, that might get taken down anyway, or might get my whole shop taken down. You know what I mean? So I just think that just this excessive focus on trends is kind of extra. It's really, really extra. People are just going super hard on it. You need to draw back a little bit, or just be a little bit more intelligent on how you approach trends. Try to go after these evergreen trends, something that is trendy, but that'll still give you returns over time. You know what I mean? So that's all I really got for you, man. If you do use Amazon KDP, and if you made it this far in the video, man, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. If you use Amazon KDP or merch by Amazon, I do have a link to Helium 10 in the description. I am sponsored with Helium 10, so I do get a little bit of a kickback when you sign up for Helium 10, but that is the only tool that I use when I do niche research, validation, stuff like that for all of my Amazon products. If you use Etsy in any way, shape, or form, I only use Sales Samurai. Sales Samurai is the only tool that I use for niche research and validation for Etsy. So that link is in the description as well. And I am also sponsored by Sales Samurai. So I get a kickback on both of those if you want to check those tools out. I believe both of them have free trials going on right now, but I know they definitely have free tools that you can use. Awesome. So that's all I got for you. I really appreciate you guys sticking around this long. I've been doing a lot of babbling and so on and so forth, but I've learned a few things here, and I'm going to continue to share my journey with you. And if you're interested, I'll check you out on